to Halcyon, the city of hopes and dreams. Superpowered supervillains lay their super schemes. And if you want to take them on, you're gonna need a team to win the fight. Look for the Varsity Knights, the teenagers by day, superheroes by night. Young and strong and daring and ready to fight. When evil comes around to take a bite.
Watch out, Megabytes.
Look for the Varsity Knights.
All right, are y'all ready to get into things?
Yeah,
I'm ready for this.
Cool. So just to get ourselves back into the mindset of this world and these characters, in place of a full recap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and ask you all what was a highlight of last session for your character.
When I was a human cannonball.
All right, well, Tyler has his. All right, Nikki, do you have a highlight for your character?
Oh, I mean, probably telling my friend Amy that I'm going to be at her party, because I obviously am.
Diego really enjoyed changing his body so that his friends could use it. It sounds wrong.
Yeah, a little bit.
Change your body.
Let me rephrase that. Diego enjoyed being able to help, like physically helping.
Are you referring to when he changed himself into a ladder?
Into a ladder and into a big rubber band.
Yeah.
A thing that Nell actually enjoyed was probably just being able to take down a villain. Like this is what I've trained my whole life to be able to do, and I did it.
Good job. So there's a couple of you who have specific playbook moves to make during downtime. Kitty has that, and Nell does as well.
Before rolling, ask the other players to answer these questions about my performance.
Are we giving you a performance review?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay, let's see.
Have I been upholding the traditions of my legacy?
So your traditions of your legacy are essentially like saving people.
Yeah, public perception is definitely like high savior, protecting people.
Fighting against the cultists of Fenrir and stuff.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of saving people, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
everybody
don't know about Fenrir.
was saved.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Have I maintained the image of my legacy?
I mean, you look badass.
Literally looked like your
Yes.
legacy, yeah.
And have I made the other members of my legacy proud? I did use the abilities that Skull taught me.
That's true.
And you also didn't let Check You Betcha neg Diego too much. You're standing up for him.
So yeah.
That all makes sense?
Yay!
Yay!
So that's a 10.
Okay, and what happens on a 10?
On a hit, one of them offers you meaningful encouragement, an opportunity, or an advantage.
Let's do Kitty's move as well, so I have
All
some more
right.
plans for what this downtime looks like.
Mine is, when time passes, roll plus your mundane to see how well you're managing your obligations. On a hit, things are going pretty well. On a 7 and 9s, you've lapsed one obligation of your choice. On a miss, you haven't given your normal life anywhere near the attention it deserves. The GM chooses 2 obligations that are going to bite you in the butt. So this is her dance team, student government, being the junior class president, and her popularity.
Okay.
It's an obligation.
It is. It's hard being a high schooler.
Yeah.
It really is.
Okay, so
Ooh,
that is a 9.
Okay.
Lapsed one obligation of my choice. I'm going to say that...
Oh no, do you not make it to Amy's party?
No, I want to make it to Amy's party. And I feel like if I made it to Amy's party, that would be following up on the dance team and the popularity, so I am lapsing on junior class president.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No Yoo-hoo in the water fountain this year.
Okay. One use of scenes in downtime is to clear conditions that you have marked. So there's a couple ways of clearing conditions. There's the way that you can do it yourself, which is essentially you need to do something stupid. So there's specific rules for what clears a given condition. Like, for example, to clear angry, you need to hurt someone or break something important. Alternatively, you can help somebody else to clear a condition by comforting or supporting them.
Who's got conditions?
I am insecure.
Yeah, I'm
Right?
angry
Yes, I believe
and guilty.
So that's just to give you ideas about what kind of scenes you could do in this downtime.
So, okay, I know we're playing teenagers, but I'm an adult.
Okay.
I'm an adult.
You, Alex, are an adult.
I have.
You turned 30 today.
Yay!
Thank you.
Welcome
Today-
to the 30 plus.
It gets worse.
Today, my dad said, "Welcome to the third floor," which I don't know. Anyway,
great.
So I have both hopeless and angry. For in the description, it says to clear hopeless, fling yourself into easy relief. He swiped a bottle of whiskey from Miss Fraser's drawer, or just he swiped a bottle of whiskey from the janitor's closet from like some random staff.
So I
Rather
think-
than implicate Miss Fraser.
So I
and
think
creeping out the
basically what
job.
happens in the downtime for you is like you end up spending too much time just like being sad and drinking.
Yeah.
And so that assignment that Miss Fraser had you working on does not get turned in on time, and she's basically been tunnel schooling you essentially.
It's gonna turn into just a rant.
Yeah.
And it's gonna stop being an essay.
In the meantime, I think let's look a little bit at what's going on with Kitty currently.
All right.
So I think this is a scene that happens mid-school day.
Okay.
You're currently like at the locker of somebody who is also in your student government. Let's go with her name is Myra.
Okay.
She's saying to you, Kitty, look, I know you've been really busy with the whole choreography thing for the dance team and stuff, but you really need to get this budget together for homecoming because they're giving us a lot more responsibility this year, and if we don't get this done correctly, then they're not going to do it next year.
Right. Sorry. You're right. I've been so totally distracted. Were you there? Were you there at the museum?
Oh, no, sorry, I was out sick that day. How, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. I just, I really think that those heroes, they were really being heroes.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, it's like Chet's thing. I don't really care about the heroes. I'm more like, just like stay out of my way and like don't fight around me.
Right, I mean, but like if a villain showed up around you,
Yeah.
then you would want them to come fight around you, right?
Yeah, probably, just, can we get back on topic?
Right, sorry, so the budget, I mean, how much can balloons really cost, right?
Yeah, but it's not just balloons, we gotta hire a DJ.
Yeah, isn't your brother, isn't he like a college DJ?
I can ask. As this is happening, you hear the voice of your little brother coming up from behind you as he says, Hey, Kitty, Kit Kat.
Hey, Junior. Right, sorry, Myra, can we talk about this later?
Okay, sure, whatever, just get it to me by the end of the week, alright?
Right, yep, okay, end of the week, homecoming budget. Understood.
And Carson Jr. looks over down the hall towards Nell, who has currently got a minor crowd around them who are just like holding perimeter, don't want to like get too close and crowd them.
So Nell's probably just like at their locker, putting other stuff away, and has no idea this is happening.
So, you know how you're like on that team of those like 4 superheroes and stuff?
Yeah, but we don't talk about that at school, Junior.
Okay, but like, can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
Can you get me Spektor's autograph?
Yeah, I guess.
Cause he's like my age.
He is like your age, Junior.
And he's so cool. He's got all those like he can like make things float. And his costume's super rad.
You don't want like my autograph?
Well, I mean, I already have your autograph.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Tyson, as you're walking past, I think you always get some background telepathic information from people. You have to like focus on shutting it out.
Kind of like tuning a radio.
Yeah, exactly. That, I think, kind of like tunes you into that because you're realizing that somebody is talking about Spektor.
He overhears.
Yeah, over here a little bit more as Carson is like, it's just like, it's really cool that they're superheroes like my age because it means that like, I could get powers and I could join your team too.
I mean, yeah, you could. I mean, I was born with mine, so it's a little late for that one. But you could get into a horrible accident, like El Camaleón.
Oh, awesome. How did he do it?
He says he went for a swim.
Oh, like at a pool?
You'd have to ask him yourself.
Tyson's gonna walk up to Junior. Are we the same?
Carson. Yes.
Carson?
Yes.
Carson. Carson!
Oh, hey Tyson.
One time, Spektor saved me.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I heard about that at the museum. Just let me know if you
His autograph.
if you can get that for me, okay?
I'll try my best, Junior.
Probably do it if you want it. And Tyson just walks off. Literally kicks rocks.
So Kitty knows that it's Tyson, right?
Yeah.
So I think she's just gonna be like, Junior. And just makes eyes looking at Tyson and back at Junior.
Stop giving people's identities away! Everybody knows
I think this is
Everybody
exactly
knows
the
it's
thing,
him.
right? She's so protective of her own identity and doesn't give a shit about anybody else.
Junior looks over at Tyson and is like, what? And then his eyes get big, his mouth just We cut away from that for now, and we're going to take a look at. I want to know what Diego and Tyson's hangouts look like.
Ooh.
Hey, let me tell you
What
about my
does
new
it
best
look like?
friend. Ba-do-do-do.
So you live with Bob
Greco.
Where?
In his house. It's
So-
an apartment.
If I knew Tyson from the foster home,
Yeah.
that might be the only house I can go to.
It's an
That makes
apartment
sense.
above a pizza shop.
It's an abovement.
An abovement. It's an abovement.
An abutment, okay.
It's
an abovement.
the only abovement
Okay.
that Diego can visit.
Okay.
He's got the sewers. He's got the school at nighttime, and then he's got the woods. Tyson invites him over. From time to time.
There's rooftop. We can get on the rooftop.
Beautiful.
Eat pizza. Can we read comic books?
Of course.
It's like comic books, and maybe we read some of the newspapers of the local superheroes doing shit.
I think what we see is Tyson and Diego both up top on the rooftop. You've got a box full of half-eaten pizza between the two of you, labeled slices and dices.
Yes! It's so good.
And I'm hiding the whiskey bottle
Yeah.
in a paper bag so that Tyson doesn't know.
The way that you read the paper is the way that he'll read the paper, or comic books. So he emulates some of your behaviors.
Missing daughter. Same old, same old. Oh look, this guy's got a rat infestation.
Anybody missing any toys that we could have? Video game.
Antique coin collection. Is that close enough?
That's really boring.
Here's a question. Are you planning on trying to clear his conditions?
What do you have to do to clear angry? Break something or hurt somebody?
Yes. But you could help him by taking comfort or support. And basically what that means is you've got to try to make the other person feel better.
He has in his wobe a brand new first edition of
Calfax, Prince of the Seas.
Diego. Bob was bringing over some of the things of his old comic books, and look what I found. It's a #1. I think you might like it. It's Califax, Prince of the Seas.
That's a first edition. Holy shit.
He does
holy
the
crap.
whole. Yeah, we have to get a swear job for you.
Sorry.
Want to read
That's
it?
real cool. Is this the one where he saves
Is this the one? Of course, it's #1. And look! And he puts the comic book down very gingerly, and he pulls out a pair of very nice white gloves. Because we've been eating pizza, and these are Bob's comics. And Bob has a huge collection, and he will make him wear gloves.
Does Bob know you took this?
What Bob doesn't know won't hurt Bob, right?
Yeah, alright. That's cool.
Okay. Can you roll comfort or support plus mundane? Yep.
Oh right, I tanked mundane.
4 all day, -2. It's a 2.
Okay. So I think what you basically get out of this is, as you read through it more, you have a feeling oh, is this how he sees me? Calfax is not human. Calfax is basically Atlantean, and you're basically is this who I am to this kid?
Hey, listen, Tyson. I'm still Diego, right?
Yeah.
Back at the foster home, and I was just the guy sitting in the corner on his own.
Yeah.
That's still me.
Yeah, but now you have all these really cool powers.
Yeah. through no fault of my own. I sound like a 50-year-old man now, Tyson. I'm 17. I'm just a kid. So this Califax guy, that's...
If you don't like, you just have to say so.
No, I like...
Grabs the comic book and goes downstairs. Frick! I'm a kid too, you know!
Before we end the scene, I want to give you an opportunity. Alex, or Diego in this scenario, you can actually try to shift Tyson's labels, basically as a retaliation. If you say something that's like, try to tell Tyson who he is or how the world works, then you can trigger a label shift for him.
Oh, if you trigger him. That's not good. Do it.
Hey, wait, come back. Hey. And I'm gonna lift up the box. Still one slice of cheese pizza left. It's got the cheesy crust.
Can I have the whole piece?
You can have the whole piece.
The whole piece?
I'm good.
Takes the
Alright.
box.
Hey, what I was trying to say here is that, yeah, we have all these cool powers, but they can also hurt people by accident. You know, like the Stegosaurus, badass, right? But if it fell on Miss Fraser, or on Kitty's little brother.
Is that why the shark lady called me dangerous?
Yeah, but you know, screw the shark lady. We're in charge of how dangerous we are, okay? Yeah. So I'm trying to down his danger by 1 and up his savior.
Do you accept this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Diego.
So we're going to flash forward just a little bit more into yet another school day. This is history class with Mr. Han. We see Nell and Kitty, who are both in the same grade, sitting next to each other. Chet is snoring in the back row, and Mr. Han is writing up some stuff on the board, and then he starts off by saying, "Okay, class, well, the bell just rang, so that means we're getting started. We're beginning our unit on Greek mythology. So, can anybody name any of the Greek gods?"
Kitty raises her hand. Persephone?
Ooh, I like that one. That's not one of the ones that people usually say. Yes, Persephone, the goddess of spring and the harvest, and also the underworld. Can anybody else name any Greek gods? And this goes around the class a couple times. Is it safe to say that Nell doesn't actually know many of these? Because I feel like Nell has a specific mythological education.
I suppose that's fair. I feel like Nell would have absorbed some of the basics anyways, just through pop culture. Has seen Disney's Hercules.
So Mr. Han goes around kind of like trying to call on most of the people in the class who look awake. He makes eye contact with Nell a couple of times as if like prompting them to offer something. But then after that doesn't happen, he continues on and says, very well. So one theme that comes up a lot in Greek mythology is known as hubris. Does anybody know what that is?
I feel like that's something Nell potentially would know. Sort of wait a few seconds and say, like, pride.
Pride. That's correct in a sense. That's certainly what the modern definition of hubris has come to mean. But the Greeks understood it as something very different. They understood it as the specific type of pride when a mortal believes that they are more than mortal, that they are in the realm of the gods. Now, I feel like that's certainly has a lot of different modern connotations, especially with the boom of all the metahumans recently. I mean, we have one in our classroom right now. Everybody kind of looks over to Nell. There's like an awkward chuckle that goes around the classroom.
Kitty just gives you a thumbs up.
Nell doesn't understand why people laugh.
There are many nowadays who would claim that heroes of our modern day are similar to Greek gods. But then there are also others who would claim that that is a form of hubris in and of itself. Now, I'll leave that up to you to decide, but the Greeks at least believed that it was impossible for any mortal person to rise to the ranks of the gods. In fact, any who tried were inevitably punished. There are stories of many people like that. Sisyphus, Prometheus, Icarus. All people who tried to rise to the level of gods, but were ultimately struck down.
What do you mean rise to the level of gods?
Well, it depends on the scenario. The different myths are written by different authors, so the definitions were generally inconsistent, but usually it was those who thought that they could challenge or be equal to them in some way, either through competition or through trickery.
Shouldn't everyone strive to be better?
Of course. This is all mythology anyways, so it's not like it's right in front of us. We have proof of some forms of mythology, we don't have proof of all of it.
Well, some of it is true. Couldn't any of it be true in some way?
That's true. Anyways, I suppose you would know better than I would. And then there was like another, like, very nervous chuckle that goes around the classroom.
Well, Mr. Hunt, what's so terrible about wanting to be equal?
Oh, nothing. It's a very natural human impulse. And I think that it's perfectly reasonable. I think that a lot of the heroes of Greek myth were people with incredible power for the mortal men of the time. You'll see heroes like Achilles, who was basically invulnerable except for his heel, famously. Hercules, who was in some parts divine, and so he was one of the few who was actually able to get away with his hubris.
Why is hubris always punished?
I think the Greeks were just dumb.
It's possible that that's why. Another interpretation is just that the gods were jealous. That they didn't want for any human to rise to their level. Or other beings, as the case might be, because as we now know, there are beings of all different kinds. I mean, Xanarcavians and the Atlanteans, to name a couple. Anyways, let's continue on. Turn to page 100 of your history books, please, and the rest of the class continues on. Mr. Han briefly stops Nell before they leave and says, a moment, if you would.
Sure.
He waits for everybody else to leave. He kind of like looks at Kitty for a bit in case Kitty's
Yeah, I think she would probably linger until she gets the hint of like, fine, I'll go.
It looks like he considers something and then says, actually, why don't you stay too?
Okay.
It was a very good discussion that we had going on there.
Okay.
I just wanted you to know. I apologize if I came across as rude during that. I honestly don't know how to treat having a metahuman in my classroom so much.
Same as anyone else?
Well, it's not exactly the same now, is it?
I think their emotions work about the same way.
Well, not all of them. Besides, it's metahumans like you experience the world in a way different than the rest of us, don't you? I mean, just your vulnerability alone would make you less worried about many of the dangers that would befall a normal person.
I mean, maybe, but I only started that recently. I mean, I don't think that affects history class. It affected shop class that one time, but I understand that was a bit of an anomaly.
Well, that's the thing about history, is that history is a form of storytelling. And storytelling is ultimately about sharing experiences with other people. And so, if your experiences are different from others, then you'll tell different stories. Not worse, just different.
Isn't that kind of the point? Otherwise, everyone's all telling the same story, and that's really boring. What's the point in hearing a story if you already know how it goes?
That's fair. Which is why I'm glad that you're in our class. We need somebody to tell your side of things.
My side of things being a homeschooled kid, I'm...
Oh, a homeschool kid with a magical axe.
I mean, it's not like I carry it around.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you for the discussion.
Sure, yeah. You know, part of how my entire family is raised, they don't know who's going to be the next Hati or the next Skull. So all of us are raised as if it could be us. And that's why so many of my family ends up doctors and firefighters and first responders of all types. It seems to me that encouraging people to be more than just people is a good thing.
Oh, I agree. In many ways, I admire your family greatly. I hope this isn't overstepping, but I have followed the Wolf's Blood family in the news before. There's a great op-ed on you in the most recent newspaper, for that matter. Plus, there was that whole tell-all on TMZ a year ago, where we got to see about the lifestyles of all of the Wolf's Blood family that didn't end up taking up the mantle. It was really very enlightening stuff. I suppose I'm just grateful for the opportunity to have you in my class.
You have no idea how grateful I am to be around people I'm not related to.
Yeah, I suppose I can relate to that. Well, you shouldn't worry about my class or me. I promise you that I'll treat you no differently.
Yeah, sure.
What he's doing here is he's taking influence over you, but since he's an adult, he already has influence over you.
Yep.
Which means that he gets to shift your labels now for free, essentially.
Okay.
So he's going to shift your superior up and your mundane down.
I don't like the way that sounds.
As they're leaving, Kitty's going to say to Nell, it's like, that was weird. All your teachers do that?
No.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah. Anyways, I wouldn't listen to him.
As you are walking out of the classroom, a plastic lunch tray comes flying down from above and smacks you on your face. It just kind of like goes right around your head as you are just completely unharmed by this. As Chet is there holding the lunch tray and he's like, oh man, that worked exactly like I thought it would.
What an asshole!
Nell has been in combat training for a couple years.
Yes.
I think Nell's instinct is someone is attacking me, I need to fight back.
Okay.
So I think Nell's instinct is to just turn around and sucker punch it.
You do that. As you turn around, you just punch him directly in the face. He goes down hard, and you see his nose begin to bleed. He's like, oh man, I was just joking, man!
You came up behind me and attacked me. What was I supposed to do?
Oh god, my nose!
I should get you to the nurse?
Oh, go. I can go make my way to the nurse alone. And as he's like, just to pick himself up and walk away, he says, God, the old woman has never done something like that. You want to hold it together and be cool.
Nell is wearing the tray like around their neck still. Does this clear my angry condition because I've hurt someone?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah! But is Chet really someone or just...
Probably after the next class, Nell will go to the nurse to check on Chet
Okay.
and apologize again.
Before you're able to make it to the nurse, your phone actually rings. And as you look down, it is Balder calling you.
Nell will probably let it go to voicemail, having been told not to use your phone during school hours.
So it rings a couple more times, goes to voicemail, starts ringing again.
Will answer thinking it might be an emergency and immediately ask that upon answering. Just be like, hey, Uncle Balder, what's going on? What's the emergency?
Meet me at the football field. And he hangs up.
Now? Was that now?
Because, as you know, superheroes tend not to speak very clearly. They say dramatic stuff, and they understand each other. And Balder, in particular, you know, as a gruff, all-business kind of guy.
Yep.
So you go towards the football field, and you see your uncle. He's wearing, like, a dark hoodie. He's got the hood up over his face so that he's not recognized. But even behind that, you can see his extremely athletic build. So that's pretty much everyone in the Wolf's Bloodline has it in some form. And as you get closer, you see the multiple scars on his face that he's gotten from various different superpowered threats. It's pretty common for new Hatis or Skulls to look flawless and pristine for a while, but as time goes on and they fight more and more dangerous threats and more diverse threats that could actually hurt them, a lot of modern medicine can't actually operate on your line.
That tracks.
So, as he pulls back his hood, you see one of his eyes just clouded over with like his long gash down to the side. He regards you with his one good eye and says, Took you long enough.
Yeah, I mean, I was all the way up on the 3rd floor, so I had to go down all the floors, then down into the basement, avoid the hall monitor, because I'm technically supposed to be in class right now, and then I had to go out and then down around the parking lot to the back of the school downhill.
Eklund, you talk too much.
First time I've been told that.
Listen, you did a good job at the museum.
First time I've been told that too, actually.
I reviewed the footage. You did a lot better this time around, taking the fight to the bad guy. You take care of the threat, that ends up taking care of everybody else most of the time.
That was the thought anyway.
Listen, I know I'm supposed to be retired from the life, but I still got some contacts, and I thought maybe you'd be interested in hearing about this. And as he says that, he removes a folder from his hoodie, opens it up, and a hologram pops out with the Aegis logo on it. And it's just like this hollow video recording of Aegis agents analyzing the heist scene and interviewing the museum curators about the specific thing that was taken. Eventually, the conclusion that is reached is that this particular onyx pendant was a long-lost item that could be used in mystical summonings.
Okay.
Now, I know you've not really done much facing down magical foes yet, but let me tell you this much. Magic is weird. With science, you can usually have an idea about how it's going to work, but with magic, you gotta go off of feeling.
Like, how you feel, or like instinct?
Instinct.
Okay.
And I know you've got the soul of Hati in there somewhere, so you've got some of that.
Yeah. Should.
Anyways, you can keep this, and he'll hand you the folder. And, keep an eye on that kid on your team.
Which one?
What's her name? Ricochet?
Oh, I like Ricochet.
Yeah. I've worked with plenty of people like her. Just normal folks with some powers who want to do some good. A lot of them end up in over their head.
Ricochet is really fast.
Speed doesn't keep you safe all the time. Take care of yourself.
And he's gonna walk away. As he's saying this, you are remembering a little bit about why he retired. His partner was lost due to supervillain activity. She wasn't a active hero in the metahuman sense, but she was like basically targeted to get to him.
Nell's gonna call out to him and be like, one question. Well, I guess, well, you already know, the fight that we actually fought in was a distraction of the actual thing.
Yep.
Any advice for that? I mean, the fight was in front of me. The people I needed to protect were behind me. How do I know that I'm supposed to be somewhere else?
It's a tricky situation. It's why you have a team. I'd recommend maybe send some of the other people on the team who can't take a hit as well. Keep them on watch duty.
Right.
Keep your eyes and ears open all the time. You never know what's coming around the corner.
Yeah. Thing is, scent's really the best for me right now, and there's a lot of mint.
I did face down against Megabyte one time. Kind of a weird fight, but I didn't have to go to the dentist for the next 2 years, so...
That's fair, I did get
Okay, so we are currently in Miss Fraser's class. I want to say that Diego is around because Miss Fraser has insisted upon him attending one of these classes, but hidden because he failed on his assignment so hard. And this is... Go ahead.
Can he look like the skeleton?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the science skeleton in the corner of the room.
Mm-hmm. And this is a biology class where you're basically dissecting rats.
Ew.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who are just like, ew, I don't like it. And Miss Fraser is going over the different parts of the rats, just being like, and so you have to be sure to cut around the lungs in order to get to the heart.
Be very careful about them because they tend to get a bit squishy from the formaldehyde. Amy, I understand it probably smells bad, but this is just something that you are going to have to do, okay? If you don't want to do it, then you get your lab partner to do it. And Amy just like looks at Kitty with pleading eyes.
Why do I have to do it?
I just can't. It makes me think of like blood sausage and stuff.
Like the food?
Yeah, and I had it and I threw up the one time, so I feel like I'm gonna throw up right now.
Fine.
And as you are slowly going through and dissecting the rat and like placing all of the different pieces of it onto the table, your goal was basically to like identify all of these different body parts essentially. As part of that, you like have got all of the ribs lined up in a row essentially. You see one of those ribs begins to like move of its own power. At first you're not entirely sure, but then it scooches down again, knocks into another one, and then all of the ribs stand up on their sides, and they just kind of like just begin like bouncing up and down, like trying to hop off of your table.
That's not cool. Miss Fraser!
The rest of the students are beginning to notice this as well. As they start looking at their tables, some of them are just getting back from their dissection stations. Chet stands up and is just like, oh man, this is not cool! You know what, I bet this is Diego!
Oh, fucking dude.
Why?
I don't know. I just really wish that other superhero that Nell's friends with was here right now. And as these bones begin marching their way towards the door, you hear, it's been 10 weeks, and I rise again. Students of Tucker Island Public School, beware! For the Skelutador is here!
I mean, no!
Now, we are going to rewind just a little bit. We're going to go to Mr. Han's history class for the 7th graders.
Mr. Han.
Right now, Tyson is sitting in the history class as Mr. Han is going on talking about the American Revolution and all of the different founding fathers. It's very dry stuff. Is Tyson the kind of person who pays attention in class?
Tyson is doodling.
Okay.
And I made these doodles last time, and I feel like this is exactly what he was doing. He drew Megabyte, he drew, Kaboom.
Mm-hmm.
That's clearly when he was the cannonball. That's him. And he got the cloud there because of his legs, and I forgot, he is paralyzed, but his mind keeps his legs up. And that's the Hammerhead agent.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I knew this. So Tyson is paralyzed, but his mind keeps his legs up?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a result of the car crash.
So, as you're sitting there doodling, Tyson might not notice Carson Jr. sliding up in the seat next to him, slowly moving from seat to seat to avoid Mr. Hans noticing him. He kind of leans in and goes, "Psst, hey, Tyson?
Yo,
What you doing?
paying attention.
Those are some cool drawings you've got.
I'm trying to focus.
I see Megabyte there. Do you like superheroes?
What do you want?
I really like superheroes, so I wanted to ask you if you knew about any heroes, like maybe Spektor or something. Like do you know about him?
I cannot confirm or deny that I may know about the Spektor of whom you speak.
Okay, but like he's like my favorite person on the Arkham Knights, other than Ricochet. But
Arkham Knights.
Not Arkham Knights, on the Varsity Knights.
Really?
Yeah, because
What do you like about him?
Oh, I really like that he has like these super awesome powers, and like I'm just thinking like if I had the powers like that, I wouldn't ever go to school. I'd just be like boom, crash, crash, boom. As he's doing this, Mr. Han looks over like shh, boom, crash, boom. You know.
Yeah, it would be pretty awesome. He's very anxious.
Here's a question for Tyler.
Okay.
Does Carson Jr. have influence over Tyson?
I feel like Tyson, he likes the attention, so he's going to go towards the attention.
Okay, so
yes.
Yes. Okay. So I think that what's happening here is Carson Jr. is unknowingly shifting your labels. He's saying that he sees you as more of a freak and less mundane.
Okay.
Do you accept that?
Yeah.
So I think in this scenario, you're basically realizing you've been feeling less and less like you fit in the school, I think, because you're
Big bang boom.
you're all these big bang booms, and he's just told you that if he were in your shoes, he wouldn't be going. As he's saying this, he says something along the lines of, yeah, well, do you actually want to go to school? Because, like, I don't want to go to school.
I mean, who wants to go to school?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if you have powers, which I don't have a reason to think that, but
I mean, it's definitely something to think about, for sure.
can you mark insecure as you're basically thinking to yourself at this point, what am I even doing going to school?
Well, I'm also insecure.
So, right around this time, Mr. Han up at the front of the class kind of just clears his throat. Excuse me? Tyson,
Yes, sir.
is there something that you'd like to share with the class?
We were talking about the
I have to go to the bathroom. We were talking about how I have to go to the bathroom, says Carson, like with his hand raised up.
the importance of when it is an emergency, you have to speak up for the bathroom.
Mr. Han kind of just like looks between the two of you, narrows his eyes, and then says, okay, be quick about it, Carson. And then Carson gets up, like looks back at you, gives you like a double thumbs up, like, I got you.
He like puts the thumb in the middle of his chest like he's hiding it, and hides with his other hand. Yeah. So he goes along with it.
The rest of the class continues on. I think Tyson is continually lost in his doodles a little bit.
He's doodling more. Absolutely.
So it might be a little bit of a surprise to him when he starts hearing these big booms, not just in his head.
Oh,
When he starts hearing the sounds of some screams from outside, the sounds of what sounds to be like laughter of some kind.
Like bad laughter?
Like,
Oh shit.
tremble in fear, oppressive flesh, for the Skeleutador is here. The rest of the students rush over towards the door, just kind of see what's going on. Mr. Han is trying to keep the peace, being like, kids, sit down, please stay in your seats, but they're all just kind of like going straight towards the door.
Can I look for a way to use that as a distraction to escape?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to slip out the back door, and who would be the nearest friend in the group?
I think that Kitty would be using this opportunity, if she can, to also slip out the door. So she's probably in the hallway right now looking for a place to like put on her Ricochet
I think
outfit.
Kitty is among the other people that Tyson sees in the hallway. You see a good number of students kind of just like running down the hallway. Some of them are screaming, some of them are looking back with panic on their faces. You see Chet at the front of the pack just be like, oh god, we're all gonna die! As he runs past Kitty. Immediately following behind all of these students are a small legion of skeletal rats and birds and other just random wildlife that might be seen around a school that is following after these students, as well as a large thump, 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 turning the corner.
Are these rodents also in luchador masks?
Yes, absolutely.
They're painted. They're face painted to look like
Yeah.
Okay.
masks.
Excellent.
Somehow.
I think the Scaluchador just sits at home painting bird and rat skulls in his free time.
As this happens, a large, bulking figure comes around. His head is all the way up to the top of the hallway, and if you could imagine what a buff skeleton might look like, it is
Absolutely.
that. Like,
Okay.
his bones are at least 5 times as thick as they should be. There's basically no gaps between his ribs, and they almost look like abs on his chest. And his skull itself is painted in this, like, sugar skull kind of fashion.
Beautiful.
As he just laughs maniacally. Ha 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 ha! Run, oppressive flesh, for I will free all of the skeletons trapped within your mortal frames.
So Diego, as the skeleton, I touch the sink so I can turn into water and go through the drains. And I want to pop out in the bathroom where Ricochet's came by accident.
In the girls' bathroom.
I mean, because that's where I hear the screams, not because I'm being a perv. So I just like shoot out of there as water from the toilet. Hey!
So I think maybe.
So, I don't think Nell has even summoned their axe yet. They are trying to run and intercept Skull-Luchador and get between this swarm and the students.
Okay.
So, runs ahead and like skids to a stop in front of this horde. Holds out their hand and their axe appears, sends this rippling light effect across their body as their attire and everything shifts into Hati. And Nell is still feeling guilty about not doing very well at the last fight and also punching Chet in the face. So the attire of Hati shifts for that. So it looks a little more ragged, a little more worn than in the last combat because they're not feeling so great. So they summon their axe right in front of Skull-Luchador, stare him down, and ask, "You looking for a fight?"
It kind of sounds like you're trying to provoke him. Yes. So roll plus superior.
Which is 0. So that's a 7.
Ooh. As you bring out your axe, Skull-Luchador stares you down and just says, "You think that axe can harm me? I am protected by dark necromantic magics. As long as my anchor remains, nothing can hurt me." And this is enough time for the rest of the team to assemble behind Nell. So, we are going to now enter combat against a dangerous foe as a team. So, who is the leader of the group at the moment?
Nell.
Nell.
Alright.
Nell, do you have influence over everybody?
No.
No.
Cool. Does everybody have the same purpose in the fight? Nell, what is your purpose in this fight?
To do better than last time, essentially. Or specifically, focus more on making sure nobody gets hurt.
Okay, nobody gets hurt is the plan. Does anybody have a different purpose in this fight?
I would agree with that.
To show off a little bit, because Big Bang Boom, Carson Jr.
Alright. So we do not get to add another team for that. Does anybody mistrust the leader of the team?
No.
No.
Cool. And is your team ill-prepared or off-balance?
I mean, I'm insecure.
It does feel like this is a bit of a surprise attack.
It was.
Yeah, I think
we're
we
not
would
ready.
be considered
Okay.
ill-prepared.
So between the team that remained at the end of last session and the team that you just generated at the start of this session, there is 4 points of team in the pool to be used. With that said, the Varsity Knights all form up behind Nell, facing down a wave of undead skeletal creatures, mainly skeletal vermin like pigeons and rats and squirrels.
Kitty and Diego come out of like the girls' bathroom just randomly. Diego's tripping and he's got toilet paper stuck to his shoe, which is making his leg turn into toilet paper. It's like, fuck.
Language, Diego.
Sorry, Kitty. Ricochet, go home. Get in the game.
And Skull-Luchador charges directly towards the leader of your pack, which is Nell, and he's throwing aside the rest of the skeleton creatures as he does so, kind of like creating these large thump, 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 cracking the tile of the floor. What do you all do?
Ricochet would like to start dealing with the skeletal vermin by freezing them in place and then using the momentum that she gains from that to play whack-a-mole with them, just with her fists. So, doing like a crouch run and like...
Okay.
Nell's goal is to defend, so if he is charging straight for the group, then Nell's bracing for that impact.
So, what we're going to do is you can pretty easily start whack-a-moling these things down. They are not as much of a threat as the barreling luchador coming towards you.
Yep.
Now, can you roll to directly engage a threat?
Oh, there we go. That's
11. Nice. This luchador comes running towards you, and you brace for the impact. His arm comes around as he's doing a running clothesline towards you, and he yells out, "Prepare to face the Hell's Humorous!" as he tries to knock you over, and you brace your axe against where it would have struck, and you hold firm. You see on his face a look of, "Oh, maybe a worthy opponent after all. As his focus seems to be entirely on you for the moment being. Diego, Tyson, what are you up to?
So Tyson, even though he's insecure, he's gonna look right now to protect. He's gonna make sure that the students are okay.
Okay.
He's also gonna keep an eye out for Carson Jr. to see if maybe he can add a flourish here and there.
Okay.
So I would like to help Hati. As Diego is like rushing to the fight, he's looking for anything metal because that's his gut instinct. It's like, oh, gotta be stronger, gotta be stronger. Then realizes, oh, he stepped on toilet paper. So he kind of embraces it and then goes for like trying to blind the Skeluchador so that Hati can get better shots.
I think that sounds like you are unleashing your powers to me.
Okay, that is plus freak.
Yes.
Come on, freak. That is an 11.
11, okay. Can you describe what it looks like as you pull out the toilet paper?
I absorb the toilet paper from my leg. It ripples all over my body until I just become a walking mass of toilet paper. That I just then shoot where my arms were. They shoot out as toilet paper and wrap around the Skeluchador's head, trying to wrap around him like a mummy. Hati! Axe the guy!
Between Hati taking him on directly and now the fact that he has toilet paper around his face, he is going to mark a condition angry.
Yes!
As he does this, he backs up and just like angrily claws at his face and attempting to tear you off of him. You are just toilet paper, so I'm going to ask you to take a powerful blow.
So, 10.
At 10, cool. You stand strong. We see him tearing at the toilet paper, and we see like a shot from his vision with the toilet paper covering up his face, and then he tears it away, and another one covers it up, and then tears it away, and another one covers it up, and he tears it away, and then there's an axe coming directly towards him. Nell, what are you doing with your opportunity?
Good question, because this guy is not really going to succumb to direct damage this way, assuming he was truthful about the whole anchor thing. So I think this is almost like a test hit. This is a magical weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's more effective.
If you're trying to figure out how something works, may I suggest that you could try to assess the situation?
Yeah, sure. That is 7.
So I would say that as you're thinking through this scenario, you remember some details about the file that you were given recently by your uncle, the previous Hati, specifically around the obsidian amulet that was stolen from the museum. And you think that obsidian amulet is probably linked to Skeluchador based on a couple of different factors within the file. And if you can find where that is, stop whatever ritual is happening around the amulet, Skeluchador will just crumble.
So likely the amulet is not on his person, it is elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay. If I can, if Ricochet is nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Ricochet is the fast one. Mm-hmm. There's someone with an obsidian amulet somewhere. We need that.
On it, she'll just run off and start scouring. I'm thinking like a spiral pattern, so like start from where they are and move outward. So that's a 7.
A 7?
We're rolling a lot of 7.
Either you mark a condition, or I will tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary. Your choice.
Let's mark a condition. I like afraid, because it's a big skeleton thing.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
And you can't find the thing that's gonna stop him.
Mm-hmm. You begin running through the hallways trying to find where this thing could possibly be. You're realizing in your head, this could be in so many different locations. You're gonna have to check in every closet, every locker is a potential location where it could be. There's just so many different potential options. Meanwhile, this entire time, little tiny skeletal creatures are tripping you up. And that's when you hear chanting.
Ooh.
I don't think you speak Spanish.
Since they're in an American high school, she probably has like basic Spanish, but that's it.
So I don't think you understand
Diego
what is
teases
being...
her about it.
So I don't think you understand what is being said, but
Fair
you hear
enough.
it coming from within a bathroom.
All right, go in there.
All right, cutting back real quick. As Skeluchador is being knocked back, he's going to just like put his hands over his head and grab onto Camaleón. And he is going to say, "I will be right back." And as he says that, he sinks into the floor. He just like goes straight through it. He basically is doing a necromantic teleport as a bunch of other skeletal hands come up and pull him down into the ground.
What?
Pull Diego into the ground?
Yes.
Huh.
Somebody can try to stop this if you would like.
I don't know how much can stop Skull-Luchador, but we'll at the very least try and protect Diego.
Yes.
Like, grab him and pull him free.
Roll to defend.
I think as you're doing this, Diego's turning into bone because that's what's touching him.
Oh, that's 14.
Okay. That'll do it. Skull-Luchador sinks into the ground and you grab Diego just before Diego also gets pulled down. Diego, I think what happens is you are pulled out of the ground by Nell and you are holding on to a little finger that's just wiggling.
I'm sorry?
That is all that remains of Skull-Luchador currently. Looking back over at Ricochet. Ricochet, as you're getting closer to the sound, you're realizing that you recognize the voice that is chanting.
Oh.
As you get closer, you're just like, no, it couldn't be. And then you realize, no, it must be. That's the only person. It's Carson Jr.
What?
Oh.
What do you do?
I'm gonna go in there and pick him up by the wrist if I can and be like, stop that!
So as you put your way into the men's bathroom, you see Carson Jr. is sat cross-legged and he's kind of levitating in like this meditative state. His eyes are completely shut and there is an obsidian amulet that is hovering in the air right in front of him, doing circles as he continues chanting. He seems completely unaware of his surroundings.
Alright, I want to snatch that amulet.
Okay, you certainly try to do so, but there is some sort of force that is holding this all together currently.
Can I snatch him then?
You can grab him, but again, there is some sort of force that is holding all of this together. You can barely move him.
Alright, I want to yell at him then.
Carson! Carson! Junior! Junior!
As you like pull up on his eyes to try to get him to pay attention, you see that they are kind of like rolled back into the back of his head.
Oh
Can you absorb his energy?
That is something that you could try to figure out by assessing the situation.
boy. Alright, yeah, let's go with that. Let's try to figure out what's going on here. 11 plus 3, 14!
14.
7 and 14. We're only working in multiples of 7 today.
That's it.
You think that this does not seem to be hurting him, it's just keeping control of him. As for what you could use to snap him out of it, if you were to give him a sufficient emotional shock of some kind, you might be able to snap him out of it. Now I want to look back. Currently, Skull-Luchador has just bamped out of there, leaving the three of you. There are still screams throughout the school. How are you going to proceed?
So I think as Skull-Luchador's gone, Diego's fine, goes over, sees Spektor. It's like, we need to find Ricochet. And the amulet. Ricochet went to find the amulet. We find the amulet.
You
we
have her
find
phone?
Ricochet.
Or his phone? I don't know.
I could try to sit down and think about where she could be.
That's not.
No, but I mean like a brain radar.
That could work.
You could do that this whole time?
I don't know.
Well, let's give it a
Try it.
Okay.
9.
Yes. So mark a condition and you hold 3 burn.
I will be afraid because I'm not sure if I can do it.
Okay.
He's gonna kind of like squeeze his head between his hands like a vice, and he's thinking and walking back and forth, like,
Your awareness expands. You normally, as a person, are aware of your own existence. But as you're doing this, you become aware of your teammates, Hati and the Camaleón next to you, and then surrounding them, other students, surrounding them, students further, and then surrounding all of that, you become aware of the awareness that you know as Ricochet, as well as Carson Jr. in the bathroom. Now that said, you're also aware of another presence that you are sensing for the first time in this manner, but it is definitely an angry skeleton that is rampaging towards the gymnasium, and there are a lot of students in there.
okay. They're in the bathroom. Don't know if he's corridor. We have to get to the gym though now. The skeleton thing is going over there towards all the kids. We have to go there now.
Is Ricochet safe?
I don't know. They're just
One
over there
of
in the
you
bathroom.
go to Ricochet, the other one come with me into Jim.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I'll go to Ricochet because I
Yeah.
feel like I don't want to put myself in physical danger, but maybe I can help with what's ever over there.
So the
like that
team
idea.
splits off as the two of you, Camaleón and Hati, head off to the gymnasium to keep the students safe. Meanwhile, you're heading towards the bathroom. Now, Camaleón, you are becoming aware of a little voice inside of your head. And you actually recognize the voice as the voice of the Luchador.
You are different from the rest. You are made of bone, but you are not made of bone. But you are not flesh. Why do you fight for these people, brother?
Shut up.
Please, brother, I want to help you. You see, these people, they will never understand people like us.
He starts to smack his own head, and Hati probably sees this.
They look over and they're like, water in your ears? It happens to me all the time.
And more like dust, in a sense.
That
You might
part
want to
of-
get that looked at. That can cause an infection.
Yeah.
They think of us as nothing but freaks. They think of us as nothing but monsters. The oppressive flesh will always look down on us. But I know, we know, that people such as ourselves are better than that. We are strong together. And we can break free from these chains.
He's trying to shift your labels. He's trying to move your freak down and your superior up.
You drive a hard bargain. I think that resonated a little with Diego, especially after thinking about how Chet treated him recently. But I think he's gonna try to resist. That's a 7.
That's a 7. Okay. Mark off that Luchador no longer has influence on you.
Yeah.
I think that as part of this, you're realizing he can talk to you because you're made of bone. And so you just turn that off.
I turn into whatever tiles that
Yeah.
the floor is made out of.
It's the bone film.
It's asbestos.
No.
Let's look back in the restroom as Tyson arrives to see the scene of Ricochet looking at Carson.
At this point, Ricochet is saying to Carson Jr., Junior, I know that you want to be a superhero, but this is not the way to do it, okay? You're never going to be a superhero, and you need to learn to accept that.
That is a provoke if I've heard one.
It was supposed to be get an emotional reaction out of
Yep.
him.
That is
plus
provoking.
superior, and you get a +1 forward since you assess the situation.
Okay. That is a 14 again.
14, nice. His eyes slowly start rolling back into place, and he kind of like looks towards you with this look of surprise on his face as he slowly starts levitating downwards, I think like into your arms, essentially, and the obsidian amulet starts also lowering before it clatters onto the floor.
Kit,
Fine.
And I think you can mark potential because you've just revealed your identity to Tyson.
Yeah.
So Tyson like hasn't moved, like he has that big like Kramer entrance.
You
Please don't tell anyone. Like, please.
What are you, why are you flip-flopping on me? You told me to do this!
What?
We're gonna cut back to the gym. So, we see the Luchador busting through the doors to the gymnasium as a bunch of students rush off to the other side. Chet is there, he throws a dodgeball ineffectually at the Luchador that just bounces off of his giant, I'd say peck, but it's ribs.
One of us distracts him, the other one hits a big blow. This is the worst time to say this. He had the whole trip to the gym to say this, but I think he waits until now to say, he can talk to me. As bone.
He talked to me too?
No, like in the, and he holds up the finger, and then he turns himself into bone. Hey! And then just try to taunt him. So Hati doesn't hear anything, but Hati can see Diego stare intently as if I was trying to communicate something. Hopefully.
Understood the plan of one person distracts, the other person
Yeah.
hits him. So just going to like back away and try to skirt around like through the other entrance and then cut back around.
What are you trying to say to him?
You're right, brother. I think it's time to show them what we're made of.
Okay. And what are you trying to get him to do? Because it sounds like you're trying to provoke him.
This isn't the place. The place is in Halcyon City with all the crooked politicians and those scientists.
Okay. Can you roll plus superior with a +1?
Well, that's a 10.
On a 10 plus, they do it. So, as you're saying this, you get this sense within your head of just like elation as he says,
I knew you'd come around eventually. Come, show me the way. I'll stop up at the local graveyard for some extra materials and
Well,
the world back.
The thing is, I have Spanish next with Kitty, and I can't miss Spanish.
Ignore Kitty. She is oppressive flesh. She will never see you the way that I do.
Yeah, maybe you're right. And I want to look over at Hati and
Do I have a
yes,
a
you've
chance
you've absolutely got a chance to blindside him at this
Hell
point.
yeah.
You can directly engage a threat for me.
Alright, let's see how I roll. Not well. A 4.
No.
That's just a 4.
I think we see Hati sneaking up behind him, preparing to blindside him with the axe, and then we also see a little tiny bone squirrel starting to squeak and look towards Hati, and then right before Hati is about to attack him, he lashes out with his other hand and grabs the axe before it hits him by the haft, turns around and picks Hati up.
Oh, I see how it is. You thought that you could trick me, but now your friend is going to face the fatal femur! As he slams him down onto his knee.
Alright.
You're going to roll to take a powerful blow, please.
Alrighty. 11.
Okay, so what happens?
So he does this move. It probably hurts like a bitch.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
But it doesn't break any bones or anything, because invincible. And he does that expecting to break something. So Nell recovers, rolls across the floor, and swipes the axe out toward his feet.
He doesn't move his foot in time, and it takes a chunk out of his shin bone, and that's how he realizes that his protections are gone. He's going to mark insecure as a result of this.
Fine, if you won't join me, then I'll just have to bring out my friends who are hiding inside of yours.
And as he does that, he pulls the rest of the students, and you see them starting to scream as this necromantic energy flows out towards them. It looks like they're being dragged across the gymnasium towards him. What do you two do?
I keep his attention.
Actually, you know what? That's true. He's gonna do that to you instead.
Okay.
And I think this is another powerful blow that you're gonna have to take because this is magic.
Yep. 8. Mark a condition. Afraid makes the most sense, but I hate that.
Modestly concerned.
I think afraid makes the most sense.
Diego, what are you doing?
Oh my god, I don't know.
Diego, you've got a sense that if you don't take him down hard or attempt to get his attention in a hard way, Nell might be in it for a very bad time.
Okay. He just panics and just grabs the basketball net. He was going for the rope of the net, instead he just touches the metal of the ring. And he's just fuck it, just cannonball himself, run up to him, jump, and then just right in the ribs.
Okay, roll to directly engage a threat.
A 10?
10, so you get to choose 2. And also describe how you take him out.
Okay. So I would like to hit him so hard such that he breaks his concentration and Hati is able to land, hopefully on their feet, and then also create an opportunity for my allies by just some of his bones maybe break off and he's maybe in 2 pieces.
As you come in for this last hit, he sees this happening, drops Hati, and leaps back up at you, and the two of you collide midair. Can you roll to take a powerful blow?
Oh. That's a 4.
That is a 4. That is a success.
Oh, okay.
You can mark potential, and I think you just go straight through him, and he collapses into a pile of oversized bones. Now that is all taken care of, let's look back at this bathroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tyson is listening intently.
Carson has just said, "Yeah, you told me to take this and to go into the bathroom, and
Why would I
I tell you that?
I don't know.
Okay, when did I tell you that, Junior?
I was going to go to the bathroom, then you stopped me in the hallway.
Ricochet or Kitty?
You, Kitty.
Looking like me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't do that. So, someone looks like me.
I don't understand.
Did they give you the amulet?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not good.
Here, take it. I don't want it anymore.
Alright, so she'll take it and put it in the pocket of her motorcycle jacket.
Carson just gets up and he tries to leave the bathroom because the sense you get from him is he's just very stressed about this scenario.
Yeah, I think Ricochet would just kind of leave with him.
But before you do, Spektor would go, Ricochet!
What?
You just, it's from a stall. Come here! Unlocks the door.
Junior, you gonna be okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
She's just thinking to herself, great, I have to deal with that later.
I was like trying to see if there was somebody else out there, and I kind of looked into Carson Jr.'s brain, and it's weird, but not because it's his brain. But it's weird because his...
I'm sure it's also weird because it's his brain.
But what he was telling you about the... You...
About the me? The doppelganger?
About the you. That memory, it doesn't fit perfectly where it's supposed to. Almost like it was put there.
So, it's somebody with telepathy.
Maybe? We should get out of the bathroom.
Yep.
Hello everyone! Thanks for tuning in to Roleplay Radio this week. I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of the talented musicians that helped bring this podcast to life with their amazing music. You can find song names and links to the artists' web pages in the description. I would also like to thank our players who were involved in this project: Rin Garnett, Tyler Rubin, and Nikki Aguilar-Thompson. And a very special thanks to our talented GM, Michael Yang, who not only prepared this wonderful 5-part miniseries for Roleplay Radio, but who also scored and produced the Varsity Nights theme song. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe to his personal YouTube channel, which we've also shared in the description. Thanks again! I'm Alex Aguilar-Thompson, and I sure hope to see you again next week for another episode of Roleplay Radio.